Mercedes were well on their way to yet another 1-2 during the season opener in Austria, but late drama in the form of a penalty meant that Lewis Hamilton finished 4th on the table despite finishing 2nd on track. Bottas managed to keep his nerve and win the race, and together they helped Mercedes start the season as the top team. However, things could have turned out a lot worse for them. I'm your host Dylan Shelley, and first up on Formula World we'll look at how both Mercedes cars could have retired in Austria. Mercedes boss Toto Wolff began by explaining how things started to go awry for them from the very beginning of the race. The situation was pretty serious right away from the start. We saw it started with issues on Valtteri's car, but it was something that can be an instant kill. Then it started on Lewis's car. We didn't really know what it was. He further elaborated on how the curbs at the Red Bull ring played a role. We know that it was somehow linked to vibration and agitation of the car. That is why we advised them very early on to keep off the curbs. He then revealed how they could have ended up with a double retirement. At a certain stage, it looked like we would not finish the race with both cars, so we were really trying to cruise home. Race winner Valtteri Bottas gave his point of view as well. We had these issues with some sensors that were getting damaged by the vibration of the pretty harsh curbs here, so I had to avoid the curbing, which obviously cost quite a bit of lap time. There were many variables. I managed to dodge many bullets today and get the win. His teammate Lewis Hamilton then summed up his thoughts on the weekend. The car felt great, although reliability was a real issue for us. Fast feed. McLaren team principal Andreas Seidel is happy that they were able to match Racing Point's Sergio Perez in the race as well as the Ferraris. His driver Lando Norris feels that they were in the right place to take advantage of other people's mistakes. He also feels that they can't be on the podium very often in the short term, but this reward in the form of a podium is obviously wonderful. Renault is reportedly planning to announce their new driver for 2021 on Wednesday. 2016 world champion Nico Rosberg feels that Vettel is starting from scratch now. He can't cite those titles as an argument because they don't count anymore. He also thinks that the next race he has to prove himself again and show that he still belongs in F1. Another former world champion, Jenson Button, feels that it was a tough weekend for Lewis because of the 2 penalties, but thinks that it's only one weekend and the next weekend Lewis will retaliate again. He also revealed that he has always stood up for Seb, but the collision and spin during the first race of 2020 is something he'll look back and be very upset with himself. He also finds it funny that Ferrari's team principal Mattia Binotto did not mention Mercedes in a way as a competitor. He said that with our competitors not scoring many points after the race. Lewis Hamilton revealed that in order to have an opportunity to pass the car in front of you in Austria, you always want to try and go for the opposite strategy. However, the safety car came out and that really kind of messed with things because he was going to plan to try and extend his stint as long as he could, then stop for the opposite tyre. He is also really grateful for those who did kneel along with him before the race in Austria and thinks that everyone had a right to their own personal choice regarding this. He further mentioned that it was an emotional and moving chapter in the progress of making F1 a more diverse and inclusive sport. Toto Wolff feels that they could have let Lewis drive ahead of Bottas, and if they had, maybe Lewis would have gone to the podium. Ferrari's Charles Leclerc has revealed that he has made very little mistakes and is extremely happy with the result, the strategy and the choices of the team. Dutch Grand Prix sporting director Jan Lammers feels that it's an expensive failure for Verstappen because with so few races, every point is more precious. Red Bull's Christian Horner has revealed that they are currently investigating the reliability issues with Honda and feels that it was a pity though because Verstappen could have won. Renault's F1 managing director Cyril Abitbol thinks that ahead of next week they must focus on the main negative of the car reliability. He also lauded his driver Esteban Ocon, who feels he did a very good job and it was a solid return to racing for him, bringing them their first points in Austria since the team returned to Formula 1. And his other driver, Daniel Ricciardo, meanwhile lamented his early retirement and feels that it was a reminder of what Formula 1 can be like, and sometimes it's unkind. Will Mercedes win again in Austria this coming weekend? Head over to my community page to vote in the poll and let me know what you think in the comments. And if you liked this video, feel free to subscribe and check out my others for all the latest in the world of Formula 1.